The economics of owning a car wash from the road. An automatic car wash can look like one of the easiest businesses in America. A driver pulls in. A machine reads the vehicle. Soap sprays, brushes spin, dryers roar, and a few minutes later the car leaves clean. There may be only a handful of employees on site. Customers can pay at a kiosk. Members can drive through using a license plate reader. The building does not need shelves full of inventory, a dining room, or hundreds of workers. It can look almost passive, but the machine is not the business. The land is the business. The traffic pattern is the business. The water system is the business. The conveyor is the business. The chemistry is the business. The maintenance schedule is the business. The membership program is the business. And if any one of those systems fails at the wrong time, the line of cars can disappear while the bills continue arriving. A car wash may collect $20 or $30 from a customer in less than 5 minutes. But before the owner keeps any of that money, there is rent or a mortgage, construction debt, electricity, natural gas, sewer charges, water, chemicals, payroll, insurance, credit card fees, equipment repairs, landscaping, software, marketing, property taxes, and constant replacement of parts that operate in a wet, corrosive, high-friction environment. And there is one more problem. A car wash sells something that customers can postpone. If the weather is bad, they may wait. If rain is forecast, they may wait. If the car still looks clean, they may wait. If a competitor opens across the street with a cheaper membership, they may switch. So how does a car wash actually make money? Why are investors building expensive express tunnels across the country? Why have monthly memberships become so important? How much does water really matter? And why can a location with a line of cars still produce a disappointing return for the owner? To answer that, we first need to understand what a car wash owner is actually buying. A car wash is not one business model. There are several versions, and they behave very differently. The simplest is the self-service wash. The owner provides bays, pressure wands, brushes, chemical systems, vacuums, and payment equipment. The customer provides most of the labor. Because there is no long conveyor and fewer employees are required, the operating structure can be relatively simple. But self-service has limits. Revenue per customer can be lower. The owner depends on customers using the equipment correctly. Bays can be vandalized, payment machines can fail, vacuum areas can become dirty, and a property that looks unattended can quickly lose trust. The second model is the in-bay automatic wash. The vehicle stays mostly still while the machine moves around it. These washes are common at gas stations and convenience stores because they fit into smaller sites and can operate as an additional service rather than the entire business. The third model is the express exterior tunnel. This is the model that has attracted some of the largest operators and most aggressive expansion. The customer drives onto a conveyor. The vehicle moves through a tunnel while different stages apply pre-soak, soap, friction, or touchless cleaning, rinses, protectants, spot-free water, and forced air drying. After the tunnel, many locations offer free vacuums to make the membership feel more valuable. The express model is built around throughput. The faster the business can move vehicles through the tunnel without sacrificing quality or safety, the more revenue the same piece of land can potentially produce. The fourth model is the full-service wash. The business may wash the exterior and then use employees to vacuum, wipe interiors, clean windows, dress tires, or provide detailing services. Revenue per customer can be higher, but labor becomes a much larger part of the economics. These models should not be confused with one another. A self-service wash can survive with lower staffing and lower throughput. A full-service wash may depend on labor efficiency. An in-bay wash may depend heavily on fuel station traffic. An express tunnel may require a much larger initial investment, but can process more vehicles and build a recurring subscription base. The first mistake in car wash ownership is assuming that the equipment creates demand. It does not. A beautiful tunnel in the wrong location is still in the wrong location. Car washes are unusually dependent on site selection because the customer normally makes a short, low-value trip. Most people are not driving 40 minutes across a city to save $2 on a basic wash. The best locations, therefore, combine visibility, convenient access, strong traffic, the right income and vehicle mix, and enough surrounding population to support repeat visits. The entrance matters. A property can sit beside a busy road and still perform poorly if drivers cannot turn into it easily. A median can block access. A difficult left turn can reduce impulse visits. A narrow stacking lane can push the line onto the street. A bad exit can make the experience frustrating even when the wash itself works perfectly. The site must also physically support the operation. An express tunnel needs room for the building, stacking lanes, pay stations, vacuum spaces, mechanical rooms, water treatment equipment, drainage, underground utilities, landscaping, and safe vehicle circulation. The owner is not buying a small building with a machine inside it. The owner is building a transportation system for cars, and that system is expensive before the first customer arrives. The developer must acquire or lease land, obtain zoning and permits, complete engineering, prepare the site, install drainage, connect water and sewer service, build the tunnel, install electrical and gas infrastructure, purchase wash equipment, build the reclaim system, install pay stations and software, construct vacuum canopies, pave the property, add signage, hire employees, and market the opening. A large operator can spread design, purchasing, management, and construction knowledge across many locations. A first-time owner has to build that expertise almost from zero, and the money can remain tied up for months before the wash produces meaningful revenue. Construction delays do not care that the loan has already started. Permitting delays do not care that the land is expensive. Utility upgrades do not care that the opening date was promised to investors. This is one reason the car wash business can look easy after opening and extremely difficult before opening. Once the doors open, revenue usually comes from two main sources. The first is retail washes. A customer arrives, selects a package, pays once, receives the wash, and leaves. Higher-priced packages may include additional chemicals, tire shine, ceramic-style protectants, underbody cleaning, wheel treatment, or other premium features. The second source is monthly membership. This is the economic engine that changed the modern express wash industry. Instead of asking the customer to make a new spending decision every time the car becomes dirty, the business charges a recurring monthly fee for access to repeated washes. The customer gets convenience, the owner gets recurring revenue. That distinction matters enormously. A retail customer may disappear for 2 months because of weather, travel, or simple forgetfulness. A member can continue paying during that same period. At the end of 2025, Mr. Car Wash, the largest national car wash brand in the United States, operated 548 locations and reported about 2.3 million members in its Unlimited Wash Club. Membership sales represented 76% of its total wash sales. That does not mean every independent wash should copy the same percentage. It shows how central subscriptions have become to the economics of a scaled express wash model. Membership changes the relationship between volume and revenue. With retail customers, more visits generally mean more revenue. With members, more visits do not always mean more revenue because the monthly price is fixed. A member who washes once can be very profitable. A member who washes 15 times uses more water, chemicals, electricity, tunnel capacity, and equipment life without paying 15 separate fees. The owner therefore wants members to perceive strong value without allowing the cost of heavy users to overwhelm the recurring revenue from the larger membership base. This is similar to a gym. The customer buys access, not one specific transaction. But unlike a gym, every visit to a car wash uses chemicals, water, energy, mechanical wear, and tunnel capacity. That makes pricing important. If the membership is too expensive, customers do not join. If it is too cheap, The business may fill the tunnel with high-frequency users while producing too little revenue per member. And if cancellation is difficult or the customer feels tricked, the short-term revenue can damage long-term trust. The strongest membership program is simple. The customer understands the price, the value is obvious, entry is fast, cancellation is clear, the experience is consistent across visits. Now consider the most visible expense: water. People often assume a car wash must use enormous amounts of fresh water for every vehicle. The reality is more complicated. The Environmental Protection Agency's WaterSense guidance reports that a 2018 study found conveyor washes averaging about 30 gallons of fresh water per vehicle, with substantial reclaimed water used in many systems. EPA guidance also notes that water reclamation systems can reduce freshwater use by roughly 50% to as much as 83%, depending on the facility and system design. That means a modern wash may use the same water more than once for parts of the process. Water from certain stages can be collected in underground tanks, filtered, treated, and reused for applications where perfectly fresh water is not required. But water recycling does not make water free. The owner still pays for fresh water, sewer service, pumps, tanks, filters, treatment chemicals, reclaim equipment, maintenance, and energy. And the final spot-free rinse may require reverse osmosis treatment that creates another layer of equipment and operating cost. Water is therefore not simply a utility bill, it is an engineered system. Then there are chemicals. A wash may use multiple products in a single vehicle cycle: pre-soak, detergent, foam, wheel cleaner, drying agents, protectants, tire shine, and other solutions depending on the package. Chemical cost per car may seem small, but tiny differences become important at high volume. If a nozzle applies a little too much product on every vehicle, the waste is multiplied across tens of thousands of washes. If it applies too little, wash quality falls, and customers cancel memberships. The owner is constantly balancing cost against customer perception. The customer does not care how efficiently the chemistry was dosed. The customer cares whether the car looks clean. Next comes electricity and fuel. Pumps move water at pressure. Motors turn brushes. Blowers dry vehicles. Vacuums run for hours. Lighting, heating, cooling, point-of-sale systems, compressors, water treatment equipment, and office systems all consume energy. Some locations also use natural gas or other energy sources for hot water or heating systems. The machines are fast because they are powerful. Power costs money. Then there is labor. The modern express wash can operate with far fewer workers per vehicle than a hand wash or full-service operation, but it is not employee-free. Someone must guide vehicles onto the conveyor. Someone must handle sales questions. Someone must clean the site, empty trash, maintain vacuums, refill chemicals, inspect equipment, respond to incidents, manage memberships, and solve problems when automation fails. Managers must schedule the team, review performance, handle customer complaints, monitor safety, and protect the property. A labor-light business is not a labor-free business, and when the line becomes long, one poorly trained employee can reduce throughput for the entire tunnel. Now consider maintenance. This is the expense that many first-time owners underestimate. A car wash combines water, electricity, chemicals, moving vehicles, rotating equipment, belts, chains, bearings, sensors, pumps, motors, pneumatic systems, and constant vibration. Parts wear out, sensors get dirty, nozzles clog, belts stretch, bearings fail, pumps lose pressure, vacuum hoses break, payment kiosks stop reading cards. A small failure can close the entire revenue line. A restaurant with one broken oven may still sell food from the rest of the kitchen. An express wash with a disabled conveyor may sell almost nothing until the problem is fixed. Downtime is therefore more expensive than the repair bill alone. The owner pays twice. First for the technician, part, and repair. Then for every car that could not be washed while the tunnel was closed. This is why experienced operators treat preventive maintenance as revenue protection. They replace parts before failure, inspect systems daily, keep critical spare components, and train employees to recognize unusual sounds, vibration, pressure changes, or wash quality problems before they become shutdowns. The cheapest maintenance schedule can become the most expensive operating strategy. Insurance creates another cost. The business moves customers' vehicles through automated equipment only inches from brushes, rails, signs, walls, and other cars. Even when the system is well designed, claims can happen. A customer may report a damaged mirror, wheel, antenna, trim piece, or paint surface. Vehicles can enter the tunnel with loose parts. Drivers can brake unexpectedly. Two cars can make contact. Employees can be injured around moving equipment. The owner therefore needs strong operating procedures, cameras, training, documentation, and appropriate insurance. Then there are the costs that customers never see. Credit card processing fees take a percentage of electronic revenue. Software platforms charge for point-of-sale systems, license plate recognition, membership management, reporting, and customer communication. Trash removal, landscaping, snow removal in colder markets, pest control, security, accounting, legal work, and local permits continue regardless of how exciting the tunnel looks from the road. And the land itself may become one of the largest fixed costs. Many car wash operators lease sites rather than owning every property. Mr. Car Wash disclosed that it leases the land and buildings for a significant number of its locations, and that rent obligations are generally non-cancelable even when a location is closed. That is a powerful lesson for a small owner. If the site underperforms, the lease does not automatically disappear. If a competitor opens nearby, the rent does not fall. If road construction blocks the entrance for 6 months, the landlord still expects payment. Fixed occupancy cost turns a bad location into a long-term problem. Now consider weather. Weather affects car washes in contradictory ways. Rain can destroy today's traffic because customers do not want to wash a car immediately before it gets wet again. But rain, snow, road salt, pollen, dust, and storms can create strong demand afterward. A winter market may produce intense cleaning demand after snow and salt events. A dry market may depend on dust. A spring market may be driven by pollen. Different climates create different patterns. This makes daily revenue volatile. A membership program can reduce some of that volatility because recurring fees continue even when retail traffic is weak. But memberships do not remove weather risk completely. Long periods of bad weather can make members feel they are not using the service enough, leading to cancellations. Severe weather can damage equipment or close the property. Drought restrictions or utility constraints can change operating costs. The business is more predictable than pure retail, not perfectly predictable. Competition creates another risk. A successful express wash can be copied. The equipment is available to competitors. The membership concept is available to competitors. Free vacuums are available to competitors. That means the strongest advantage is often location, convenience, execution, brand trust, and network density, rather than a secret machine. If a competitor opens 2 minutes away with a newer tunnel and a cheaper unlimited plan, the original owner may have to reduce prices, increase marketing, renovate the site, or add services. The customer can switch quickly. A car wash does not have the same switching cost as a mortgage, insurance policy, or apartment lease. Now look at a real large-scale operator. Mr. Car Wash reported more than $1 billion in net revenue for 2025. That number sounds enormous. But revenue is not profit. The company reported about $103 million in net income, equal to a net margin of roughly 9.8%. It also reported approximately $28.5 million of maintenance capital expenditures and about $227 million of growth capital expenditures during the year. The growth spending included investments intended to expand future operations, not simply the cost of keeping existing washes open, so it should not be divided by new locations as though every dollar represented one new tunnel. But the scale of the spending still reveals something important. This is a capital-intensive business. The equipment may automate the wash. It does not eliminate investment. Let us build an illustrative model for one independent express exterior wash. These numbers are not industry averages and they are not a promise of performance. They are a simplified example to show how the economics move. Assume the location has a strong suburban site and sells 60,000 single retail washes during the year at an average realized price of $16. That creates $960,000 of retail wash revenue. Now assume the wash maintains an average of 1,200 monthly members paying $29 per month. That adds about $418,000 in annual membership revenue. Add $75,000 from legitimate additional revenue such as premium upgrades, fleet accounts, vending, or other services. Total annual revenue is approximately $1,453,000. Now the costs. Payroll taxes, and employee-related costs consume $300,000. Land rent or property occupancy costs consume $180,000. Water, sewer, electricity, gas, and other utilities consume $140,000. Chemicals and consumable wash materials consume $120,000. Repairs and routine equipment maintenance consume $120,000. Insurance, merchant fees, software, accounting, licenses, trash, landscaping, and administration consume $110,000. Marketing and membership acquisition consume $50,000. The owner sets aside $90,000 as a capital reserve for future equipment replacement, pavement, vacuums, pumps, motors, blowers, water treatment systems, signage, and site improvements. Total cost before debt service and income tax is approximately $1,110,000. That leaves about $343,000 before debt. Now assume the owner borrowed heavily to build the site and annual loan payments consume $250,000. The business that collected almost $1.5 million now leaves roughly $93,000 before income tax and unexpected major problems. That is the part social media videos about passive car wash income often leave out. A tunnel can be busy and the owner can still have a thin cash cushion. Now imagine a great year. Membership grows. Retail traffic rises, the equipment remains reliable. The owner adds another 200 members and sells 10,000 additional retail washes without needing another building. Much of the new revenue falls onto an existing cost base. Profit can increase quickly. This is operating leverage working in the owner's favor. Now imagine a bad year. A new competitor opens nearby. Retail volume falls 15%. Membership cancellations rise. The conveyor needs a major repair. Utility rates increase. The owner spends heavily on advertising to defend the customer base. Many fixed costs remain almost unchanged. Rent does not fall 15%. Debt service does not fall 15%. Insurance does not fall 15%. The manager does not accept 15% less salary because traffic is weak. The same property can move from a comfortable profit to a cash flow problem very quickly. This is operating leverage working in reverse. The most important number in the business is therefore not the price of one wash. It is the relationship between site volume, recurring membership revenue, variable cost per visit, fixed occupancy cost, and capital investment. An owner who understands only the retail price is looking at the smallest part of the model. This also explains why building a second location can be easier than building the first. The first location teaches the owner site selection, construction, chemistry, staffing, equipment, maintenance, customer service, membership sales, and local marketing. The second location can share accounting, management knowledge, vendor relationships, software, training, and marketing. A small regional network can also create more value for members because they can wash at multiple locations. Scale can improve purchasing and management efficiency. But scale can also multiply mistakes. If the owner uses the wrong site selection formula, building 10 locations creates 10 expensive problems. If maintenance is weak, more equipment means more failures. If the membership price is wrong, the same pricing mistake spreads across the network. Growth does not fix bad economics. It amplifies whatever economics already exist. So where does long-term wealth come from in the car wash business? The first source is operating cash flow. A mature location with strong traffic, recurring members, controlled labor, efficient utilities, and disciplined maintenance can generate meaningful cash. The second source is membership growth. Recurring subscriptions can make revenue more predictable and increase customer loyalty when the experience remains convenient. The third source is real estate. If the owner also owns a well-located commercial site, loan amortization and land appreciation may create value beyond the wash operation itself. But a specialized car wash site is not automatically valuable for every other use, and environmental, zoning, access, and redevelopment issues can affect the property. The fourth source is operational improvement. A better pay station can reduce waiting. Better chemistry can improve quality. Better maintenance can reduce downtime. Better staffing can increase throughput. Better membership conversion can increase recurring revenue. Small improvements matter because the same tunnel processes thousands of transactions. The fifth source is scale. Multiple locations can spread management, purchasing, technology, marketing, and training across a larger revenue base. The sixth source is disciplined capital allocation. The owner who spends $5 million to create a business worth $4 million has not created wealth simply because cars are moving through the tunnel. The purchase price and construction cost matter before the first wash. A great operation can still be a bad investment if the owner paid too much to build it. This leads to the most important question in the entire business. How many paying customers and members must this exact location produce to justify the land, equipment, debt, and future replacement cost? Not how many cars can the tunnel physically wash. Not how long the line looks on Saturday. Not how expensive the premium package is. How much cash remains after everything required to keep the wash operating safely and competitively has been paid? The careful buyer stress tests the answer. What happens if retail volume is 10% lower than expected? What happens if membership growth stops? What happens if a competitor opens nearby? What happens if water and sewer rates rise? What happens if the tunnel loses a week to a major mechanical failure? What happens if the property needs new pavement, blowers, pumps, and vacuum motors in the same year? What happens if the loan refinances at a higher interest rate? And how much cash does the owner have available before one bad season becomes a financial emergency? This is not pessimism. It is the difference between owning an automated machine and owning an operating business. So can owning a car wash make someone wealthy? Yes, but rarely because the machines simply print money. The successful owner chooses the site carefully, controls construction cost, builds recurring membership without destroying unit economics, manages water and chemistry precisely, protects uptime through maintenance, trains employees, keeps debt manageable, and reserves cash for the equipment that will eventually fail. The unsuccessful owner watches a line of cars and assumes every vehicle is profit. From the road, the business still looks simple. A car enters dirty. A few minutes later, it leaves clean. But underneath that simple transaction is a machine made of land, traffic, subscriptions, utilities, chemistry, labor, software, debt, maintenance, and time. The brushes clean the car. Managing everything around the brushes is what determines whether the owner gets rich.